Well, hi there. Good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. We have a lot to get to on this Wednesday, but one of the biggest stories of the day that we'll all feel the effects is from the weather because it is going to be hot. Thomas is tracking the hottest day of the year so far. That's an asterisk, right, Thomas?
Yeah, so far. I mean, we got all of summer left to go. I think kind of year after year, our hottest days are usually about 100 degrees. It's kind of there or thereabouts each year. But today at 92, that'll be hottest so far. It is still early June after all. Usually the heat really cranks up in the second half of June and certainly July and August. We know that living here in the inland Northwest. Even right now, up another degree with an hour of sunshine, already up a degree in Spokane, and we're going to see a lot of areas already in the 60s. The biggest jump came out of Deer Park. You're up 14 degrees in an hour. You went from 48 to 62 degrees from 5 to 6 a.m. So it is going to be a meteoric rise temperature-wise today. And yeah, at around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we should be topping 90 degrees. And 90 is the mark that we've hit once so far here in Spokane. So low 90s would make the warmest day of the year thus far.
Breaking news while you were sleeping, former Vice President Mike Pence formally announced his bid for the White House. So let's take a listen.
We can bring this country back. We can defend our nation and secure our border. We can revive our economy and put our nation back on a path to a balanced budget, defend our liberties, and give America a new beginning for life.
Pence will kick off his bid later today with a rally in Iowa, and then this evening, CNN will host a town hall with Pence at Grandview University.
Well, Spokane Public Schools is meeting tonight to decide if they will join a lawsuit against several social media platforms. That's where we'll find Up with KREM's Nicole Hernandez, who is live outside the district office right now. So, Nicole, we understand that SPS is not the only district deciding to do this, right?
Right, Channing. So back in January, Seattle Public School District decided to sue a group of social media companies, and they were the first district to do this. Now, though, it's become a mass action lawsuit with several districts deciding to join in on this. The Spokane Public School Board is voting on a resolution tonight. If they vote yes, SPS will be joining that lawsuit. The districts are suing for damages for the amount of extra resources schools have had to provide students. King County attorneys over on the west side with the original lawsuit say taxpayers should not have to pay for the mental health problems social media platforms have caused. The U.S. Surgeon General has said social media can be dangerous for young people.
There is not sufficient evidence for us to conclude that social media is in fact sufficiently safe for our kids.
So here's a list of some of the social media companies the districts are suing. They include Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. And the Spokane Public School Board will be voting tonight in their regular meeting at 6 o'clock. In Spokane, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Well, this morning we have an update on the search for a Spokane climber who went missing last week on Mount Rainier.
A spokesperson for Mount Rainier Park confirmed with KREM 2 News that they found a body matching the description of the missing Spokane hiker. Crews searched for 80-year-old Dawes Eddy since last Friday. On Monday night, local guides found an unresponsive person on the mountain. Eddy planned on hiking Mount Rainier for the 50th time to celebrate his birthday. He was reported missing when he didn't return home.
What we hope is to bring some kind of closure to the family. That's always, our goal, whether it's whatever kind of closure it might be. Sometimes it's reuniting family members, sometimes it's not. But whatever we can do to help the family and ideally help the patient as well.
A team of climbing rangers recovered the body last night. At this time, they cannot confirm if it is actually Eddy until a positive identification can be made by the Pierce County Medical Examiner. We, of course, will bring you that when we receive it. And new for you this morning, new technology helped police identify, track, and arrest a man suspected of a violent assault.
He's accused of attacking a woman on Liberty Lake trailhead just last week. Now, the victim told police she was walking up a trail Thursday when a man came up and attacked her. Now, thankfully, she was able to fight back and get away from her attacker. That's when the attacker sped off in a white sedan. Now, while the victim did not get a look at his license plate, a nearby automated license plate reader did. Police were then able to track the car to Spokane Valley, and it was in the possession of 24-year-old Ethan Cunningham. In the meantime, the man who shot and killed a Hauser Lake man last year pleaded guilty to murder. In February of last year, Adam Bennett attacked a 77-year-old man, taking his gun and killing him with it. He also shot at 2 other people, hitting one of them in the leg. Just hours before the murder happened, Bennett was detained by deputies after trying to illegally board a train. Despite having multiple warrants out for his arrest, he was released by those deputies. He will now be sentenced in September. According to our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press, prosecutors will recommend that he be sentenced to life in prison.
At 6:06, we're taking a look at a developing story in Virginia. 2 people were killed and 5 others were shot after a shooting at a high school graduation ceremony in Richmond, Virginia.
So this morning, one of the people shot is fighting for their life as they remain in hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police say one of the people killed was an 18-year-old who had just graduated. Police detained a 19-year-old suspect after he tried to run from the scene. They believe that he knew at least one of the victims and will be charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder.
When do we say enough is enough? When do we say that? How many more people have to die?
The school district has canceled all remaining graduation ceremonies for this week.
The time now is 6:07. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. Happening right now, authorities are looking for an at-risk Indigenous man who has been missing for 1 month. Take a look. 54-year-old Willard Crazy Mule is missing his right arm and has his name tattooed on his left arm. He is about 5'8" and weighs about 180 pounds. He was last seen on May 10th on West 5th Avenue and South Walnut Street in Spokane. Several landmarks across Washington state now have new names because of newly approved tribal proposals. The Washington State Board of Resources replaced old names that were derogatory towards Native American women. After the board approves the names, they will be added to Washington Administrative Code. New this morning, Boeing says it found a new defect with its 787 Dreamliner that will delay delivery. The issue is with the horizontal stabilizer, which keeps the plane parallel to the ground. It does not affect flight safety, and planes in service can continue to fly. A new archaeological dig could shed light on what we've been eating for the past 5,000 years. The Kalispel tribe and WSU partner to excavate what are known as ancient tribal earth ovens. They started their research on Monday near Newport. It will help reveal more on the history of indigenous food systems. We'll take a close look at yesterday's Google Doodle. It was designed by Rebecca Wu, a 7th grader from the International School of Bellevue. She won the National Doodle for Google contest with My Sweetest Memories. So it is actually a drawing of Rebecca and her sisters composed of their happiest memories. Rebecca will receive a $30,000 college scholarship and a $50,000 scholarship for a technology package for her school. That is a look at your morning rush.
Weather-wise today, going to be one of our hottest days so far this year, but this morning we have seen a few high-level clouds, just a few cirrus clouds, not going to block the sunshine, but it is coming off of that storm system that's way down in Southern California. But you can see the extended cloud cover that's clear through Oregon, and yeah, some high cirrus clouds for eastern Washington this morning. But if anything, it just painted the skies beautifully for the sunrise so far today, and it's not going to stop those temperatures from climbing very fast. 92, the expected high today in Spokane, would be our hottest day of the year by 2 degrees. Back on May 20th, it was an even 90 and a record high for that day. Not a record high today, and it won't be quite as hot over the weekend as we are going to be tracking those shower and storm chances from the aforementioned storm system in California starting tomorrow.